Hi, everybody, and welcome on in. This is the Wishing You Well podcast, and I am your host, Maria Patrick, health coach and Qigong instructor. I am committed to helping people live their healthiest and most balanced lives, and this podcast is the place where together we can find inspiration from the people and the stories in the news. My latest wellness inspiration comes from a woman who has played the same role on television for 25 years. She's an Emmy and Golden Globe winner, been on countless magazine covers. She's the reason many people choose law enforcement as their profession. She's inspired many victims to come forth and share their stories, and has many people, when pondering how they would handle a crisis situation, asking themselves, what would Olivia Benson do? Her name is Mariska Hargitay. She stars in the NBC drama Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and I find her quite inspiring. Today happens to be Mariska's 60th birthday. The 25th season of SVU just premiered last week to critical acclaim and a large viewing audience, and she is better than ever before. Mariska plays the captain and commanding officer of the Manhattan Special Victims Unit of the New York City Police Department. She's responsible for investigating sexual offenses such as rape and child abuse. We've watched her character evolve, grow into her own power, find her voice, and move up over the years. I've been watching since the very beginning. She's moved up from detective to sergeant to squad supervisor to acting commander to lieutenant to commander to captain. She's been part of the show since it premiered in 1999. And she is the only original cast member remaining. That is a feat in and of itself, but quite notably, not only is Law and Order SVU the longest running drama in television history, Mariska's character, Olivia, is the longest running primetime character of all time. She's surpassed Kelsey Grammer as Fraser Crane and Gunsmoke's Marshall Matt Dillon. We love the character of Olivia Benson because she's strong and smart, but she's also compassionate, empathetic, and a fighter for the victims. In real life, Mariska is a champion as well. She is the founder of the Joyful Heart Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization she established 20 years ago, which provides support to survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, child abuse, elder abuse, and human trafficking. It's rare and quite inspiring to see someone continue the work of their television character off screen in real life and to make such a huge impact and difference while doing so. She very humbly and quietly uses her star power to make changes, like fighting to improve the way the high number of backlogs in the review of rape kits gets handled. Both on and off the screen, Mariska gives voice to the voiceless, and she's been quoted many times over the years as saying, "You can't change what happened to a victim, but you can change how that person is treated and prevent it from happening to someone else." Mariska has recently been doing a lot of press for the 25th season of her show, and she's been asked about her milestone birthday. She says that she's at a point in her life where she is so incredibly grateful and that everything is getting better. Her 20-year marriage to her husband, her career, her relationship with her children, and her not-for-profit work, and that she's never felt more at peace. She's more present. She feels like she has more space to hold everything that's going on in her life, and that she works smarter now instead of harder. She says she's even more compassionate than she's ever been, especially with herself. Mariska says that we have to be patient and tolerant to see the gifts that are awaiting us in our lives. She wants women especially to be given the power and attention they deserve, and that they should feel strong and be strong and powerful as they age. For Mariska, everything truly got greater later. She got married in her 40s, had her first child in her 40s, won her first Emmy in her 40s, broke barriers in her 50s, and is breaking records and feeling great about life at 60. She said she's never been more excited about a birthday. What an inspiring attitude that each one of us can and should appropriate on our own birthdays. How do you feel about someone living their best life as they get older? Do you talk to yourself the way that Mariska does and remind yourself that you are just getting started and that so many wonderful things are ahead of you? Or do you tell yourself that it's too late to live out your dreams, too late to try something new? Did you know that Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 50, and she became a celebrity chef after that? Vera Wang didn't enter the fashion industry until she was in her 40s. Toni Morrison didn't become famous until she became the first American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature at the age of 62. Hubert Jones, the man who founded the Boston Children's Chorus, was 69 years old when he did so. Ray Kroc, the man behind those very famous golden arches, the McDonald's restaurants, was 52 when that happened. Colonel Sanders didn't open the first Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was 62. Laura Ingalls Wilder, who wrote the famous and beloved Little House on the Prairie books, did that in her 60s. Grandma Moses didn't pick up a brush and start painting until her late 60s, and her works didn't get noticed until she was in her 70s. Peter Mark Roget, as in the famous author of the Roget's Thesaurus, was a physician who used the categorizing and listing of words to help him deal with depression. Those lists didn't get published as the famous Thesaurus until he was in his early 70s. Henry Ford was 40 when he started the Ford Motor Company, and he was 45 when he invented the first Model T. Sam Walton was discharged from the Army and failed at many business attempts until he finally found success with his first Walmart at the age of 44. Miguel de Cervantes was 58 years old when he wrote the beloved and my favorite Don Quixote. Joseph Campbell was 78 years old when he developed his first condensed soup, the ubiquitous canned tomato soup. Diana Nyad, whose 110-mile, 52-hour swim in shark-infested waters from Cuba to Florida has been made into a major motion picture. She was 64 years old when she became the first person to accomplish that feat. Nelson Mandela wasn't elected president until the age of 76. And of course, we all know about Joe Biden getting elected president just a few weeks before his 78th birthday. I myself didn't become a health coach and Qigong instructor until I had an aha moment on my 50th birthday. I could go on and on with people who lived out their dreams later in life. The one thing we can take away from all of them is that there is no limit to the age a person can realize their dreams and successes. There is no statute of limitations on this. What is the most important is passion, as well as determination and a willingness to put aside the negative thoughts, not only those of the stereotypical society that places on us when it comes to aging, but on those negative thoughts that we hear in our own minds and say to ourselves about what's appropriate to do or not to do at a particular age. The next time you hear yourself saying, "I'm too old to do that," or "it's too late," remember that it gets greater later, and that today can be the day you take the step to doing what you want to do. Mariska is urging us all to listen to our inner voice, the thing that is urging us, silently or maybe not so silently, to do something. Honor that voice. And whether you are celebrating a milestone birthday or not, ask yourself, what would Olivia Benson do? Or what would Mariska do? And start living out your dreams. The tagline for Law and Order SVU is, "The fight never ends." That sounds like a great personal mantra to me. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. Together, we are moving forward, making our dreams come true and living our best lives. Until next time, please remember, I am, as always, wishing you well.